I.S.U.P.K.
We are the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, established in 1969, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are led by Commander General YAHANNA. We're coming at you live right now from Minnesota. We're up in Minneapolis and in St. Paul, all over the Twin Cities. Israel, pay your tithes, man.
Right.
And get ready for the Passover, too.
That's right.
This is a season in which we should be gathering together. We see the wickedness that's going on from our oppressors' hand and all their affiliates. The UPK, we are not affiliated with any organization.
Right.
And our oppressor is the damn devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
We all know who we're talking about. Who's the number one enemy against so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? Dude, like historically. Not just thousands of years ago. Look at recent history. In the past couple of 100 years, you can see it more defined generationally as they groom their young ones to murder and hunt ours. Like Adam brought out earlier, they used to use our babies as alligator bait.
Right.
They used to take our pregnant women when they were moving slow with their with their pains, damn near going in labor on the trail of tears. Gut their stomachs in front of their men.
Right.
Kick their babies on the floor like they was playing damn soccer. Tell us to keep moving. When we was cold, they give us blankets full of smallpox. And you're gonna tell me God loves these people that be hurting his children? You're gonna tell me we're supposed to love this people that's been killing our children, locking our men up, extorting our women, kidnapping our babies, putting them in cages, locking them up on the reservation with no hope, except for a bottle and some crystal meth, where the only way out is killing yourself, giving us no alternatives but to constantly have to go to them for assistance,
Right.
for drug abuse counseling,
Right.
for alcoholism counseling, for broken home counseling, for PTSD counseling.
Right.
We locked up in 8 hospitals, doped up on their medications, when we got a solution. And it starts with separating from them. And remember what Zephaniah said about Kushah.
It's like Zephaniah chapter 2 verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
That's what we're supposed to do. That's how we rebuild our nation. How do you fix the people? That people gotta come back together. And how we've been treated by every other nation under the sun. Not desired. Desolate.
Right.
Left broken and alone. And they taught us how to do that.
That's right.
We treating each other like dogs out here, man.
Right.
Ain't nobody else warring with themselves like that. North and South Korea ain't even banging on each other like the Crips and the Bloods.
Right. Right.
We going at each other's necks. But we are supposed to gather together. O nation not desired. So like you said, Deuteronomy 7:6. About Kushah. The violence that we've expressed to each other is worse almost than what our oppressor has done to us. Because we should expect that from them. That's nothing new. That's all they haven't done. And now we've been turning that same leaf and doing it to ourselves. Right. Burning down our communities.
Right.
What benefit did that give us? We got a little stress out, no sweat. There's gyms all over. I mean, before COVID, there's gyms all over the place you can go to. Lift some weights. Hey, go into the forest. Throw some logs around. Throw a boulder around. Relieve your stress that way. Do some chin-ups on a branch. Run, jog, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups. Yeah, go to the gun range.
Right.
Get your practice on. They babies practicing at 8, 9, 7, 6, 5 years old.
Right.
Aiming their guns at us, aiming their hatred at us. Because they got the freedom to. They got the power to. And they raise their children with that same freedom and that same power and that same confidence. Imagine if our babies knew that they were special to the Most High Power.
Right.
Imagine if our children, and I know every parent's supposed to raise their kids like, listen, you're special, you know, you're the best at everything, God loves you, this, that, and the third, it sounds good. But they're also going to tell you Santa Claus is real. In a couple weeks, they're going to tell you an Easter bunny is going to lay some eggs. A rabbit does not lay eggs.
Right.
If you haven't noticed.
Right.
I don't know what petting zoo you've been to, but it don't work that way. God did not design the rabbit nor some fat white man to come down your chimney, sneak into your house. If you break down the actions of what he's doing, that's home invasion. That's home invasion. Let that have been a so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian brother, that brother would have been shot on sight.
Right.
Coming down your chimney. Brother, you ain't even got a chimney in your house. What are we doing out here, man? We're not gathering together. We gather with everybody else outside of our people. With so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the real Israelites, the real Jews of the Bible, of antiquity, of history. We're supposed to gather ourselves together.
Right.
We got beautiful communities up here in Minnesota and in St. Paul. Look what we've done with that anger. Not aimed in the right direction, with the right purpose and the right intentions. We turned it against each other. Burnt down our own portions of our own neighborhoods. And everybody else benefited from that. Now you still got to go to a corner store somewhere, don't you? You still got to go to a supermarket somewhere, don't you? If somebody shoots you in the street, you still got to call a cop somewhere, don't you?
Right.
To what end? Because we still got to serve them at the end of the day. No matter how many of these stores are burned down, we still got to serve them the other day.
Right.
Our children lost that confidence. Our children lost that understanding that the Most High only loves you. The Most High only dealt with you. So-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, woman, and child. Right. Scattered all across the earth.
That's right.
Not just here in the Midwest. Not just here in America. Not just here in the North, Central, and South America. In the Western Hemisphere. They love you in Africa too. Now, I'm not talking about Africans. We're not talking about Hamitic people and tribes and nations. But we are talking about the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the nations that are not desired, that are scattered in China, right. That are scattered in Russia, right. That are scattered in Europe, right. That are scattered in Africa, in Australia. Damn near the only place you can't find a Negro or Hispanic is Antarctica. If you're working with the government and you down there, you're still in hell. Right. You're just in the frozen portion of hell. You can be basking in the sun in the south of the equator, or you can be freezing in hell. Right. I mean, those are the options that they give us. I don't care if you want to be an entrepreneur. And listen, if you want to be an actor, you want to be a singer, you want to be an entrepreneur. Most High in Christ, all of your dedication is still going to our oppressor, and our children are feeding off of that energy, and they're not raised up by us. 9 out of 10 times because we're not even in the damn house no more. Right. They get raised up off of BET and gangster rap and what's that one sister name? Like Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion. That's who raising our kids. Your drug dealers are raising our children. Your Christian and Catholic churches, your Muslim mosques, they raising our kids. That's the influence they're getting from. The so-called conscious community, that's the influence they're getting it from. And they're not learning old term for a whore, for an impudent woman. If I may say what it is. Yeah. They calling you a bitch. Right. When they calling you a queen, they calling you a bitch. Because they got grown men out there that say that they queens. You're supposed to be equal with that. That's the level of self-esteem they're trying to raise our daughters with. We can't correct this though. There's a solution. We can start by coming back. That's like it. We have to start by coming back to the law, statutes, commandments of our heritage.
That's right.
Not the law, statutes, commandments, and commandments that the Christian church has raised you with, or with the Catholic understanding that you've been subdued by, or the 42 confessions of Ma'at, or whatever kind of garbage they follow when they're supposed to make you feel empowered. When if you're an Israelite, and again, nobody argues with them fake Jews, that God chose them as his chosen people. But why does it sound so strange to say that God only loves you? Because we've been murdering each other, and we've been getting murdered by everybody and their mama.
Right.
We get hated by their children. We get raised to be hated by their children. To accept that hatred by their children. To expect that hatred by their children. When you're the most precious thing on earth. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
Now what's the word holy mean? Just to backtrack for a second. What's the word holy mean? It's not that feel good that Christianity gives you. It's not some laying of the hands and some halo magically appearing over your head. And damn sure holy water. You get dumped in some holy water and you get dumped in some holy water as homosexual. You're coming up as a what? Homosexual.
Right.
There's nothing holy about you except that you are separate from the other dry homosexuals.
Right.
You are wet, they are dry. You are still a homosexual. There's nothing graceful or holy or benevolent about that. The word holy means to be separate. Most I say to the separate people. You are holy people, so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, woman, and child. Why does that sound so foreign to us, though? Because we've been raised up with the knowledge that we are a nation not desired.
Right.
We got brought up with the knowledge that everybody's better than you. No. We've been working in the field for so damn long, and even the brothers and sisters that worked in the house, they still feel empty inside. Just because they didn't have to pick cotton, they had to wash all the clothes, they had to breastfeed massive children. That didn't make them feel better as a person. It did trick them with colorism, though. They told you if you shade lighters the entire road, you're better than them. They taught you to hate yourself. They made us become that nation not desired, even amongst each other. In every ghetto, across every city in the United States.
Right.
North, Central, South America. Over there in Europe. Over there in Africa. Any continent that you can picture your brother and sister on, we get treated the same way by outside nations. Generationally. It's nothing new. I wish I could say this happened to us yesterday and all the crimes can be forgiven. It's that simple. Maybe if they apologize. Maybe that would make the pain a little less severe if they didn't do it for hundreds of years just on this country.
Right.
Just on this continent. They did it for another couple thousands back across the sea, back home. This is nothing new. It didn't happen yesterday. Apology won't do it. We need justice.
That's right.
You think we're going to get it from them? You think the Black Lives Matter movement is going to arm wrestle them, twist their arm to demand justice, to receive justice? They don't care about you like that, and they're not threatened by that movement either. Salaki, but a bunch of lesbians and homosexuals are not going to get the government, they want to say a misogynist, are not going to get a feminist movement to give a justice to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They get 76, bring that from the top.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Did it say anything in there about being equal with anybody?
Do you know the scripture?
For thou art an holy people, the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
But it didn't say be equal to all people on the face of the earth, did it?
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Are we supposed to be submissive to all the people on the face of the earth?
Above all people that are on the face of the earth.
Alright, so God chose you, Israel. Now again, nobody gets mad at those fake Jews when they say they are God's chosen people. But they want to argue with us left and right when we try to tell you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian men, women, and children are God's chosen people. He chose you to be above all people that are on the face of the earth.
That's right.
Not next to, not equal to, not holding hands with, to be above all people that are on the face of the earth. Above all people that are on the face of the earth. But we got to set a law, statutes, and commandments that would help us fix the problems that we face in every ghetto, on every barrio, on every reservation. Except for that, two and one said gather together. Because we are something special according to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Oh, get it. And we got classes. 333 Sibley Avenue. You can check us out. It's like www.minnesota, I.S.U.P.K, or go to I.S.U.P.K, Minnesota. It's like I.S.U.P.K.com. Go to the contact page, scroll down to Minnesota School, and you can contact the brothers. You can join us for the High Holy Days. You want to have a conversation? You want to have an argument about it? That's fine. That's at least gathering yourselves together still. You're taking a step in the right direction. Now again, we got law, statutes, commandments to help correct and heal our people, as well as the conditions of everybody on the face of the earth. Because really ain't nobody out here that happy. Our oppressors, it is heaven right now, but they still living like dogs. They think they're having a good time, and we think that we're having a good time partying up with them. They leave you in the dust every chance they get. You think those drugs are because they love you? You think dumping crack and heroin into the ghettos is because they care about you? In the 60s, 70s, 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, 2010s, we in 2020s. What's changed? Did the jail cells get any bigger? Are the conditions in hell any better? Joining yourself to these people has done nothing for you, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. You are God's chosen people. You are above all people on the face of the earth.
That's right.
And again, nobody argues with the other nations when they say God chose them. Nobody argues with the Arabs when they say Allah chose them. Nobody argues with the Asians when they say Buddha chose them. Nobody argues with Christianity when they say white Jesus chose them. Nobody argues with the fake Jews when they say our God chose them. Using our records and our histories and our law, statutes, commandments, and way of life to build a kingdom for themselves all across the earth.
Right.
Can't go nowhere when they're not respected by everybody. They're not feared by their military power too. You can't just bang on the state of Israel without something happening to you. The same way you can't just go to war with America without something happening to you. Same way you can't go to war with the Arabs or the Chinese without something happening to you. But they will run you down in the streets, black man.
Right.
They will shoot you walking into your house, Hispanic man. They will watch you suffocate yourself, hang yourself, shoot yourself in the head on the rest. Pumping them drugs and that depression into your neighborhood, Indian man. It's like a so-called Indian man. That word just means savage. Now, brother, we gangsters, we ain't no savages. That was not a term of endearment when they called us that. Just like Negro, just like nigga, just like spick, just like wetback.
Right.
Gonna tell us the names that they called us that still stick around is because they loved you? No, we are a nation not desired to them. We don't desire each other's company no more either. Brotherhood and sisterhood lives in the U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA.
That's right.
It is practiced and exercised. And it is fluid where we come from. That's how we got raised. It's not you raised, not re-raised, raised.
Right.
That's how we got brought up. Gather together with your nation. Even though it's not desired by anybody else, everybody else hates you. Come back to the law, statutes, commandments, and the position of power that the Most High is supposed to, that put us up on, to be above every other nation. Because right now we are living in hell. different levels of it in that consideration. But we on the bottom, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian brothers, we on the bottom. Everybody else, even if they in some form of subserviency, they still above you. Right. They still got their own neighborhoods and their own culture. They tell you you're Spaniards. They tell you you're Africans. They tell you you're Asiatics coming from the Bering Strait. They can't prove none of that either. Ain't no history book to account for that, to make that even possible. But we do got one history book that does remind us of who we are. It tells us you are a special people. You are a holy people under the Most High.
That's right.
And the condition that we're living in, there's one way to get out of it, and one way to let you recognize who we still under right now.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
Do you hear anybody rejoicing out here? Except for the people that are in rulership? I don't see anybody else but them having a good time. At least like in Asian communities, they kicking it amongst themselves. They practice their culture. They don't have that boot on their neck. They can buy their own businesses left and right. They got all the money to spend because we giving it to them. Same thing with the Arab communities. Nobody interrupts their prayers. Nobody misdeifies their God, tries to deconstruct their religion until you bring that to the camp. Right. Until you bring that to the school, trying to tell us that we should all be Muslims. That Islam is a great thing for everybody. That's a great belief system for Arabs, or Africans, or Asians, or Caucasians. Everybody else but Israelites. That's a great philosophy and school of thought for y'all. Right. Leave our culture to us. We'll take it from here. The Bible's back home. We got this one handled. The world will rejoice when the righteous are in leadership. When the righteous bear rule. Right. That's not the condition that the world is in right now. Because who runs it? Who's got a UN? Or it's like, who's got an embassy damn near on every stitch of land? In every country, on every continent. Except for our oppressor. Now other nations that are superpowers, they got embassies too, spread out. Not like them. Not like our oppressor. Not like Esau's great-grandkids. They run the earth. Can't nobody hold a candle to them right now. Except for the Most High. Except for you. Because you are special people. Right. And when we are in rulership, the world will rejoice. They will be glad to get our coffee, chop our wood, wash our cars, make our clothes, build our houses, build our businesses, deliver our mail. They'll be happy to do it. Because, you know, we'll treat everybody equal. We'll treat everybody fair under the law, statutes, commandments. But we will also take our seat on that throne of power that the Most High chose us to sit on. That's right. Not our oppressors. Not everybody else who wants a piece of the pie. Leave us for nothing. Abandon you. Leave you alone. Walk all over you. It's time we come back home to our power. That's right. Because the people that are in rulership right now, this is actually who they are.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Authority is the key word there. Who's in authority over us right now? Right. In your public school systems, who's in the authoritative figure that's teaching our children? When we used to have our own schools, before Catholicism railroaded us. Right. Before the Christian Catholic churches brainwashed you. Before Egyptology ruined your marriage. Everybody else want to stab you in the back. We're the only ones that want to embrace you and bring you back to your culture, to your kingdom, to your rulership, and you hate us for it. That's fine. We're going to talk it out. I.S.U.P.K.com. Scroll down to the nearest school near you. Get involved, or at least bring your issues to the table. We got the Passover coming up. A great opportunity to gather with your brothers and sisters and see what the people is really like. See what they really hating against when they can't argue with you no more. When you actually show them love and brotherhood and sisterhood. Tell me we the bad guys then. Until then, I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA, established in 1969, 1 West 125th Street. We're going to be here all day and night, all throughout the world. Open 28/5, 399 days a year. Shalom, Israel. That's our time.
Nobody tell you cry. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. And it's worth something.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, sold packs, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, call this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good record. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good shepherd. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain, something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord?